Hello friends, we are Digital Word Computer and today we are learning about variables, type of variables, data types, identifiers and literals. Now we discuss variables in PLSQL. A variable is nothing but a name given to a storage area that our program can manipulate. Each variable in PLSQL has a specific data types which determine the size and the layout of the variable's memory, the range of the variable that can be stored within that memory, and the set of operations that can be applied to the variable. The name of a PLSQL variable consists of a letter optionally followed by more letters, numerals, dollar sign, underscores, and the number sign, and should not exceed 30 characters. By default, variable names are not case sensitive. You cannot use a reserved PLSQL keyword as a variable name. Whenever you declare a variable, PLSQL assigns it is a default value of null. If you want to initialize a variable with a value other than the null value, you can use default and assignment operator. Here we have a small example to define the variable through the assignment operator and default operator. In this example, we must declare a section. Here we declare, assume we have a variable, the name is healthy, and that is the integer type, and we use assignment operator and we got the value 0. The next, we have a message that is also a variable. We use varchar2 and the length is 20, and default we set hello user. Next we begin, and it is the execution section, so we give the output. Here we put both the lines in the TBMS output put line message. The salary is this and the message is, as we uses the default and the assignment operator in the declare section, and it has the global access, so we declared and we give the output here. And the PL SQL procedure, but we default the set server output on. And again we have the salary is 0 and the message is hello user. You can see the assignment operator and the default value is executed successfully. Many times we have a question that why we use the assignment operator and the default value in the variable. It is a good programming practice to initialize variable properly. Otherwise, sometimes the programs would produce unexpected result. So it is a good practice. So we should always use by default value or and assignment operator in the variables. Next, why we use variables? You can see variables can be used for temporary storage of data, manipulation of storage value, Reusability. Here when we have the entry and it has the storage of variables into this, and this is the use of variables. The next is identifiers. Identifiers are working as a variable. Identifiers are nothing but a name that is given for a PLSQL object. The object could be constant, variable, exception, cursor, procedure, functions, package, trigger, object type, reserved words, or a label. Variable is the basic identifier which is used for more frequently and the most important of all. It has the same like as a variable. The like must start with a letter, include letters, can be include special characters like $sign, underscore and pound sign, must limit the length of 30 words and must not be the reserved word. Now we will understand the concept of constant and literals in PLSQL. A constant holds a value that once declared does not change in program. A constant declaration specifies its name, data types, value and allocate a storage in it. The declaration can also impose in the not null constraint. A constant is declared using the constant keyword. It requires an initial value and doesn't allow that value to be changed. Let's check an example. Here you can see an example of constant. When we declare, it is using the constant keyword. We declared the pi, that is pi, a constant. In this program, this constant value doesn't change. So we declare the pi constant number, that is 3.14 and so on. Next we declare the other declarations like radius and area number. Here circumferences and area are and diameter. These are the other declaration. So we execute in the execution part through the begin, and we initialize the value like radius, diameter and circumference and area. Here we have a constant value that is 3.14 and so on, and the radius is 9.5, and we use these values in the diameter, circumference and area of the circle. When we use the output line through the dbms.output line, radius is equal to radius and radius is equal to 9.5, that is shown in the output. Here you can see this. The next we have the diameter. Diameter is equal to the radius multiplied by 2. So radius is multiplied by 2 and here this is the diameter. The next is circumference. Circumference is equal to 2 multiply pi multiply radius. So we have to multiply 2 into 3.14 multiply radius, that is 9.5. That is the value of circumference. The next is area. Area value is equal to pi into radius. It means pi, that is 3.14 and the radius is 9.5 and multiply by 9.5. This is the value of area. So we get that the pi value is never changed in the area and circumference. So constant value is never changed in the after the declaration part. The next we will learn about literals. A literal is an explicit numeric character, a string or boolean value not represented by an identifier. For example, apostrophe s, digword are the literals of type boolean, number or string. PLSQL literals are case sensitive. So these are the types of literals. The first is numeric literal. When we want to define the value in scientific notations like then we cannot represent through the identifiers. So we use the numerical literals. Next, we want to use the character in this way. We cannot use this. The next is string. In a string time, when we want to use or to write the hello word, we cannot write through the identifiers. This can be only written by string literals. Then the boolean is true, false. We cannot write this, or null. Date and time intervals, we cannot 19 December 91. We cannot use the date and time in literals. We can only use these date through the literals. We cannot use through the identifiers. To understand the literals in the deep way, let's see an example. We have a string literal. Now we declare and the message is of varchar 2 and its length is 30 and assignment operator, and we use its. We cannot use its, so we to embedded single quote within a string literal, place two single quotes next to each other, like we are using like this, and we use digital word computer and mass begin. Now output here, it is the output. So it then this string cannot be used by the identifiers. We only use the string literals in it. So this is the example and basic concept to learn the literals. Next we will learn about the data types and types of data types. As you know about the variables and constant stores value in a specific storage format, there are 6 built-in PLSQL data types. The first is scalar. Scalar data types haven't internal components. It is like a linear data type. The next is composite. Composite data type have internal components to manipulate data easily. Reference type. This data type works like a pointer to hold some value. LOB type stores large objects such as image, graphics, videos. Next is unknown column type. Identify columns where not known type of columns. Next is user defined data type. Define your own data type that are inherit from predefined base data type. So we discuss in detail these about types of data types. We learned some data types in SQL portion. So if you want more explanation in scalar and composite data types, you can view our SQL data type video and other PL/SQL data type we will explain in this video in detail format. But in the scalar and composite, these data types we are explained in details in the SQL video portion. So for more preference, please view our SQL data types video. Now scalar data types divide into 4 different types, like first is character. Scalar data types, this is a character, number, boolean and date. Number scalar data type or numeric scalar data type. Number data type used to store numeric data. It contains letters, numbers and special characters. In this, some data types are used to store fixed decimal points. You can use based on 4 requirement. Precious value is also vary from data type to another data type. Here the sum p is having the value from 1 to 38. It is a precious value, and the s scalar value is dependent from -84 to 127 in the scalar number data type. In the next, character data type used to store alphabetic and alphanumeric character. Boolean data type stores logical value either true or false. Boolean data type doesn't take any parameters. Oracle treats null as an unsigned Boolean variable. You cannot fetch Boolean column value from another value. The next is date. Date time variable can hold value. We can say that time data type PL/SQL automatically convert character value into default date format DD, MM and YY value. So it is the scalar data types. The next is composite. The composite data type is used to record and in the table format. The next is LOB type. The first is B file. Here this is the B file. B file data type is used to store large binary object into operating system. B file stands for binary file. Binary file stores full file locators path, which are points to a stored library object within server. B file data type is read only. You cannot modify them. The next is blob. Binary large object. blob data type is same as B file data type used to store understand binary object into operating system file. blob data type fully supported transactions are recoverable and replication. The next is CLOB. Character large object. CLOB data type is used to store large blocks of characters data into database. Store single byte and multi-byte character data type. CLOB type is fully supported transaction also that are recoverable in replications. The next is ANSI number character large object. ANSI loop data type is used to store large block of ANSI char data type into database, store single byte and multiple character data. ANSI loop data type fully supported transactions are recoverable and replications. Next, we will discuss in details about reference type. In the reference type, it is a record type. This is percentile type. This data type is used to store value unknown data type column in a table. Column is identifiable by percentile type data type, and it is write in this way that table name dot unknown data type column and percent type. We can understand the concept of percentile type through an example. So before this, we create an identifier, that is employee last name, and we declare it in declare section, and we create employee last name, and it is thrown from the employees table and in the last name, and we use percentile type here. Next, we begin the execution part, and we put the employee last name and we assign single. Now we put the DBMS output. Here you can see this. The employee name is Singaluchan. Because we declare the employee last name, we don't know the last name data type. So we use percentile type here, and we use in the identifier, that is employee last name, we call it, and we begin and we put the another string into the last name, and we output this string through the DBMS output, and the output is here. The employee name is Singaluchan. Now you can understand the concept of percentile type. In the same way, these are the some lines which is understandable for percentile type attribute. So in this session you can read out these lines, and you can also check the more about percentile type here. The next is percentile row type. It is used to fetch all columns in a table that we want to we don't know the data types of a table of all the columns, then we use the row type. It is same like as the percentile type. As we shown in the previous example, the percentile type, we can also use the percentile row type here. Now we will discuss about bind variables. Bind variables are the global variables created in the environment, also called host variables, created with the variable keyword, used in SQL statement and PLSQL blocks, accessed even after the PL block is executed, referenced with a preceding colon. We uses the variable print employee varchar 220. It means we create a bind variable and we uses the keyword variable and print employee is the variable name, bind variable name, and it's either varchar 2 data type and its length is 20. Now we start the PLSQL block. Declare employee salary, employees.salary attribute type is 2000. We assign the value 2000. We begin select employee ID into, we uses the bind variable here. Here you can see this is we use the bind variable here from employees, where salary is greater than employee salary and employee ID is equal to 101. And here when we executed this, PLSQL procedure successfully completed and it print the bind variable. So this is the concept of bind variable. The next is define and substitution variable. We uses define company name is equal to Oracle. We define it, declare fname varchar 220, employee number name, and we uses substitution variable here. We assigning a value to the employee number, which is a number data type, and we are not assigning, we just assign the substitute variable here. And we begin, when it executing, it wants to enter a number. Here you can see in the output, enter value for employees here 101, we enter it, and Coacher works for Oracle. It is executed after the substitution variable takes the value into the query, and it fetches the query from the database, and here it returns the value, that is Coacher works for Oracle. So this is the concept of substitution variable. We can use bind variable, substitution variable, and define keyword in the variables. Now this chapter is complete here. Thank you for watching us. Please subscribe, like, and comment our videos. Thank you.